Have you ever faced a rock bottom moment in your life where a series of misfortunes suddenly starts happening to you and you go from being a rich to rags, right? Today we are going to interview someone who has gone from a six-figure senior leader role to having 30 pounds in a bank account, and still she managed to turn it all around. Today she has overcome all her misfortunes and has become a creative genius consultant who helps creative women to launch and scale their creative businesses. Not just this, she has been doing challenges since 2021, having done over 15 challenges so far. Right now, she has shifted to doing two challenges annually. Would love to know the reason behind that. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation. So let's give a warm welcome to Mandy Nicholson. Thank you so much for being here, Mandy. Welcome to the Beyond Challenges podcast.
And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I mean, Mandy, like just as I mentioned to you before our call, like when we connected, I mean, your journey is so inspirational. You had a six-figure senior leader as a career, right, as a role, and everything fell apart right after. Then you went on a journey to being a creative genius who bought a mini castle in
Yep.
Scotland in 2021. I would love to know more about that. Like, what's the story behind it, and how did you got a mini castle?
Well, when I turned my life around, because I was at rock bottom in 2009, it
Mm,
took me 10 years. It wasn't something that happened overnight. It's a bit of a misconception that you can create wealth overnight. It takes
right,
time,
absolutely.
sustainability. Yeah. So in 2019, I had accumulated around about 500,000 and I went and bought my dream home for cash. I'd met my dream man and married him. Life was good.
Mm,
He was the one who pushed me to launch my creative business.
mhm,
And I did that on Boxing Day 2019. In 2020, the pandemic hit. My business was doing
mm,
well, but the
mhm.
pandemic hit. And then in April 2020, my husband died. So
Mm,
suddenly,
I'm so
um,
sorry.
I know but it's one of those moments in life because I'd already been down to rock bottom. I knew I could survive no matter what happened in
Mm,
the future. So kind of waited a few months, we were grieving, and then I decided to just move to Scotland. I'd put a castle on my vision board when we moved
mm,
into our dream home and said, I'd like to have a castle in Scotland so I can run creative retreats for women from around the world. I knew it
mhm.
was a big goal, but I'd already done a big thing and turned my life around. So I left it on my vision board. A year after Gary died, I put the house on the market and decided just to move to Scotland so that I could feel the
Mm,
goal more deeply.
mhm.
Put it on the market, sold it the same day to a cash buyer. And so we were off to Scotland. And
Wow.
what the universe did was put in front of me a miniature version of the very castle on my vision board. So I call it my mini castle. It's actually 3 stories. It's an ex-bank, and it's very grand. And
Wow.
I've spent the last I spent a year renovating it. It was a bit of a mess, and now I run creative retreats for women from all around the world, as well as my coaching business. So I'm living the dream.
Wow, I can only imagine. That's like a dream for sure. I mean, like owning a castle. And when you say that you are running retreats for creative women from all around the world, like, tell us more about the retreats. Like, what is it exactly that you do in the retreats, and is it about like you giving more value in form of masterminds instead of your castle, or what's it about?
It's about, for me, it was a natural evolution from the creative business, from my coaching business of,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be great if we could really consolidate everything that people learn through my courses in person? So
Right.
that was the reason I created the retreats. I do 4-day and 7-day. But what's happened is other women have just come along. They've never worked with me before. They've come along and done 4-day retreats with me. And
Mm,
they've been so transformative. So what I do is I combine left and right brain. So all the
mm,
business knowledge I have, plus all the creativity I have, put the two together and get these women to really tap into their potential and create purpose through creativity. So some of them have never painted before, but they have when they leave.
Mm.
So I have them painting, creating. They do projects in the
Wow.
garden. They paint a
Mm-hmm.
brick in the wall of the garden or a panel on one of the old doors. So it's really quite out of their comfort zone retreat.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really good. I mean, like, why can't we join? Like, why not men? It's just about women. Because I would love to get that kind of experience, like,
Yeah,
and I think of it more as an experience that you give to your, like, women that show up, right, for the retreat. And it's not just about the knowledge that you share, but at the same time, the experience that they get,
yeah,
that puts in all the knowledge that they get
yeah.
during the whole session, right? So, like, what was your call? Like, you just wanted to go with women because you wanted to serve your past, right?
Yes, yes. And I worked with men my entire career. I was the only female divisional executive in the company that I
Wow.
worked for. I was
Wow.
one of a handful of senior managers. So I'd worked
Mm-hmm.
with men all my life. I loved working with men, but I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to work with the old version of me that hadn't followed her creative calling.
Mm-hmm.
So the retreats are for anybody. And I actually have done some couples retreats where women have come with their husbands and had a really fantastic time. They're open to anybody, but it's mainly women who book them.
Mm-hmm. They
So,
connect with your story more, right? I
mhm,
mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you talk lot about like creative geniuses, right? And
mhm.
you call yourself creative genius consultant. So
Yeah.
tell us a bit more about, like, who is a creative genius for you and what does it mean?
I think for me, it's almost like me pushing back on society because a lot of the women I
Mm,
work with have been told that they'll never make money from it. It's a nice hobby, but they should have a proper job. I've been told that it's an
mm,
understanding in society that you're probably going to be a starving artist if you are a creative.
mm,
Um, and for me, it's like, no, you know what? There's loads of people out there that are creative geniuses that have spent their lives doing that proper job and not tapped into that creativity. So I
absolutely.
decided if I was going to step into that world, I was going to do it boldly and say, come on, you're a creative genius, work with me.
Wow. I love your mindset on that, right? I mean, eh, you really live what you preach, right? So
Yeah.
that's a big thing. And if somebody hasn't said to you yet, like, you're doing a great job with that. Thank you so much for doing that. Absolutely. So, just so you know, Mandy, like, I'm just 23 years old, right? And I have been getting those setbacks in my life, like in 23 years what I have lived, right? And that really challenges me from moving forward and continuing my journey. So what would you say was your number one reason that, or I would say, like, the number one way you could manage to get out of that rock bottom stage that you were in, and that kept you going even at your, like, lowest point?
I think for me, it's really and truly about belief, believing that you are worth more, believing that you already have all the things that you need to be successful. We've all got creative ideas, we've all got an ability to learn something new. And for me, it was about keeping that vision strong. I worked very strongly with vision boards. When I bought our dream home, it had been on my vision board for 8 years, and it was exactly the same as what was on my vision board. So I'm visual as a creative, so I use that visual purpose that keeps me going and keeps me moving forward. As I'm talking to you now, there's a 4-foot mind map on my wall behind the computer that has what I want to achieve this year. So
Wow. Can you show us that,
I'll
if
turn it
that's possible?
around. Yeah, I'll turn it right round. You'll see my vision board in the corner, and then you'll see this
Hmm.
big mind map. There you go.
Wow, wow.
I do
Okay.
actually do everything I say I do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like, you're very big on visual boards, right? Actually, seeing what you want to achieve. Do you feel like doing that gives you, like, more conviction into going out and doing it because you see it every single day? These are the steps that I need to do, and if I just simply go ahead and execute, I'll be able to achieve that.
Yeah, yeah. Every morning I come into my office, I touch my vision board, I touch my mind map, I look at my diary, I make sure that the goals for the day and the week and the month all align to where I want to go and what I want to achieve.
Mm,
And for me, it's again that mix of the visual with the planning, the left and right
planning.
brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. So, I mean, like you said that you are setting goals like monthly, yearly, and also weekly, right? So, do
Mhm.
you like take a big goal and then just dissect it to what actionable steps you need to do in just a week to achieve a smaller goal, so that by the end of the year you will be able to make it to the big one?
Yeah. I break it down into steps, into what I can achieve, step by step. We've got big peaks in the year, obviously, when we do challenges. And then this month in March, it's spring, it's Mother's Day. We're focusing on my book, The Life I Won, because that's a great Mother's Day gift and it's quite inspiring. So, yeah, we have a different focus for each month of how we're going to generate the turnover into the business.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, you have written a few books as well, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like your first book was about your own story.
Yeah. Yeah, my own story. The Life I Won is
Mm-hmm.
my story of how I went from abundance to rock bottom. So it kind of ends with me having a real big realization. And book two, which I'm writing at the minute, is called The Life I Created. And that's
Wow.
about the
Very
rebuild.
creative
Yeah.
names. Wow.
Yeah. And then there's a third book, and it might have a mini castle in it. But yeah, there's two more to come.
Absolutely. I mean, like, it's amazing to inspire with the story that you have got, right? I mean, I cannot imagine what you have gone through, but I love to see that you are still here and
Mhm.
you are sharing and like inspiring hundreds and thousands of other women doing the same, right?
Mhm.
So, when you wrote the first book, right, was that like a pivotal point for your business where people started knowing more about you and they started asking you about your stuff?
Yeah. I wrote the book. I mean, I'd tried to write the book a few years earlier and it just wasn't flowing because it
Mhm.
was 10 years between what happened to me, the series of unfortunate events, and me being able to write the book. So I tried to write it a few years earlier and spilt coffee on my laptop and lost it. And I thought that was meant to be then. And
Mm,
then in 2018, I just had this pull to write it. And I sat down the first weekend, I wrote 18,000 words and it just flowed and it was just
wow.
coming out really easily. And I thought perhaps then I've fully healed and I'm ready to share this story with the world. And I started sharing it through social media until the book was published. I actually published the book live at a networking meeting and pressed the button on Amazon to make it live at
Wow.
a meeting. So I'd kind of taken the story through social media, and I had a lot of people following me because I was just being authentic and telling what had happened, I suppose.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, like when you tell those stories, people who are going through the same, they relate with you and they join you on your journey, right? Just to see. I mean, that's really big, right? I mean, how does it feel you being at this point after 13, 14 years now, 14 to 15 years, and looking back when you were at your rock bottom, now that you have achieved so much?
I mean, it's amazing because I earn more now than I was earning when I was at the top of my career in retail, and I only work, 20 hours a week. So it's a
Wow.
huge pivot from where I went to rock bottom, but it's also a pivot from working for somebody else for that salary and being able to make enough money now that I am more than comfortable. So it's a nice comfortable feeling that my kids have also got a business that they can take over at some
Hmm.
point if they want to.
Absolutely, and congratulations, your son has joined you on your creative journey as well, right?
And my daughter, yeah, my daughter's at uni doing
Wow.
a degree so in art.
Wow, wow, amazing. Congratulations on that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, let's talk about challenges at the moment, right? Like you have been doing challenges since 2021, right?
Mhm.
So, how did you start with challenge? Like, did you find somebody else do it and you wanted to do it yourself, or somebody encouraged you, your coach, or maybe?
I actually did a 5-day challenge with a lady called Helen Tudor, which was a LinkedIn sprint challenge years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
quite big with that. And I thought, this is a nice business model actually to get people in. So I started studying 5-day challenges and I did Big Phil Harrison's and lots of other people's. and looked at the things I liked and the things I didn't like. And then I wrote my own challenge. And I decided that was how I was going to launch my business.
Hmm.
And I decided I was going to do it quarterly. So I was doing 4 a year. Um, and then that started to really work for me and give me consistency and bring lots of new people into my world, which was great, and built my network. So it
Mm-hmm.
had two roles in the business. It was building the network, but it was also bringing me clients when they were ready to work with me. So yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
been a really good business model. Now I only have to do one or two a year.
Okay, so like that's really interesting. At the beginning, you did like four annually, and now you shifted to two. So, like, are you just focusing on bringing as many people as you can to just do challenges, or why did you shift? What was the reason behind the shift?
Because I only work with a certain number of women over a year, because
Mm-hmm.
my what I offer, mine is a 12-month mastermind. So I've got the creative
Mm.
mastermind and then the ultimate creative mastermind. They include a retreat, so they get to come to the art bank as well. And I only take 30 women on the creative mastermind and 6 on the ultimate. So I don't need now to run
Wow,
any more. That brings me enough income into my business. I don't need millions. I'm not, I've got 2 businesses. I could scale that and bring in thousands, but I wouldn't be able to give them the coaching quality that they get right now. And the one thing I have found is that creative women need that time, because
right.
we've got all those barriers that have been built up over years that they think they can't do it.
Right, no, absolutely. I mean, it's more like you work with a small group of people so that you can bring them better results,
Yeah,
and it also gives you a peace of mind because, I mean, working with 1,000 people is somewhat difficult, and also looking at every single one individually. I mean,
it's
absolutely, I
impossible.
absolutely relate with you.
Yeah,
So, I mean, like when you did your first challenge, right, versus the last one that you did, it was in January, right?
yeah, this January, yeah.
This January. So you shared the same offer that you did on the first one, or was it
Yeah.
different?
Slightly different because we've added retreats now. So it's a
Okay.
high ticket offer. I mean, it's not as high ticket as some. It's 5,700 British pounds, and it's
Mhm.
10,000 for the VIP. So um, yeah, it's a slight difference. I've slightly changed the activities during the challenge to keep up with the times and introduce things like AI and things like that in the challenge. So it's you constantly review what you do. I've been doing it for 4 years, so you constantly review what you do. But yeah, it's been a really good challenge in January.
Oh, amazing! Absolutely. I mean, like I think you had around 500 people in January, right?
Yeah.
Um, wow, that's amazing. So, with out of those 500 people, like there was I think I saw one of your posts about a while back when somebody was like kind of trolling inside of the Facebook group, and you wrote a beautiful post about that, and you took it very positively. So, like, are you still getting those kind of people inside of your challenge just because you're doing a free one, or how are you managing that at the moment?
Generally, the people that come through, we're very good at Facebook ads and targeting now. So generally, the women that are in the challenge are the right people. So they're
Hmm.
either in organically, because of that 500, around
Hmm.
about half of it was organic. The
Wow.
rest came from Facebook ads. Yeah.
Hmm.
But because they're the right people, generally, it works out really well, and we get a lot of engagement in the challenges.
Hmm. That's so you're running advertisements to bring people in along with organic marketing, right? Because I see that you have a really good following of 5K people,
Yeah.
right? And they're pretty engaged because of all of your stories that you're sharing in the content. So like in the beginning as well, you were doing like organic marketing of your challenges,
Just
or was it
organic, yeah.
just
The first two were just organic. We didn't start using ads until we hit the third one.
hmm, I see. Wow, that's amazing. So before doing challenges, like, or you were using any other methods of selling your retreats or selling your program?
Just
Um,
evergreen. we were evergreen marketing and bringing women in through networking and through, but it was a lot.
Ah,
Yeah, it was a lot more work.
hmm.
Not more work, different work. It's more focused when you do challenges. You can reach more people.
Absolutely. So it's like a one-to-many room where you can just do a
Yeah.
presentation, give value for 5 days, and then make an offer. So, how has your structure been on your challenge? Like, is it like for 5 days you give value, and towards the end you just make the offer, and a few people are interested in getting in? Do they get on a call, or do they just pay and then sign up?
I opened the doors to my offer on the first day because so many people drop off by the Friday. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that I've learned
Interesting.
with challenges. So I opened the doors to my offer on the very first night. I'm very transparent about that.
Mm-hmm.
So they can sign up for the mastermind either on a payment plan. I offer two payment plans or pay in full. Um, and those people that are still wobbling by the end of the week can book a call. So that's how we run
Mm-hmm.
it. So transparency through the week. Most people have made their mind up by day two, but they just need a little bit more convincing.
So by day five, they are like enough convinced that okay, she has given me so much value in 5 days. I cannot imagine
Yeah.
how much would it be in masterminds, right? So what have you seen? What works more? Like, do people automatically sign up for your mastermind, or more people book in a call with your team?
More people book a call because they want to talk about the finances. This is a big commitment for them. And it's
Hmm.
scary for a lot of the women that I work with because they've never done it before. So I'd rather get them on a call and put their mind at ease and talk to them about how we can make it work for them. Sometimes, I mean, it's happened where I get, I wake up and there's £10,000 in my bank account because somebody signed up. But,
Hmm.
it doesn't, it's happened every challenge, but it's more people are booking calls because they want to speak to me. They want to see if I'm real.
Absolutely. I mean, it only feels like it only makes sense, right? When somebody is booking a call, they are more interested in getting into the program,
Mhm.
right? Because they just have a few roadblocks. So, what would you say, Mandy, were the three big lessons that you have learned from your first challenge versus the last one?
So one of the big lessons that I learned and what really works for me is that I do an interview every day with a former client or a current client during the 5 days.
Wow. Okay.
That's huge because we're talking to real women that are currently either in. And what I normally do is I pick somebody that's around 3 months, somebody that's around 6 months, somebody that's around 9 months, and somebody that's finished the mastermind so they can see where they could be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. That's been a huge win.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't do that at the start, and obviously I've fine-tuned the free trainings that I do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what was the third one? What was the third lesson you learned?
When I always do a question and answer post at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and encourage people to answer all the questions on that. I screenshot all the questions and I answer everybody's questions on the live at night, and that really works well because people think
Wow.
people think I'm just talking to them, and I am just talking to them, but it's answering everybody else's questions as well.
Wow, that's a very unique way. I have never heard somebody do that. So, like, how did you come up with that idea? That did somebody like say that they were having a lot of questions, but they didn't get an opportunity to ask you?
I think it was in the morning, you drop in your training and
Mhm,
your workbook. And there
mhm.
ended up being loads and loads of questions on that thread. And they got
Oh, I
lost with
see.
then other people sharing. And I said, let's separate
Mm,
people sharing what they've done on the workbook to what questions they have from the day. And it was
mm,
just an idea. So that drops in at 6 in the morning, and the question and answer post is at 3 o'clock, and I go live at 8 o'clock at night. So there's
mm.
time then for people to do the work, ask their questions, and then attend the live and get their answers. So it just flowed a bit better for me.
Right, absolutely. So, I thought that you were doing a free plus VIP model where you had 1 extra hour for the VIP members to answer their questions, or no? You're just simply doing a free challenge. Do
Free
the Q&A
challenge.
for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone. And then they've got two choices. They can join the mastermind or the VIP mastermind.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I mean, like, I never thought that this was possible or like it could be done, but definitely we are gonna go ahead and try test this out
Mhm,
and see how this works,
mhm,
right? Again, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Now, there's one thing that we do in all of our interviews that is called the rapid fire, where we
mhm.
ask a few numbers question, and you do not have to be like precise, like, I mean, if you do not want to, but it can just be a ballpark as well, okay?
Yeah,
I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
All right, awesome. So, how many challenges have you done so far?
Round 15.
15. Okay, how many people averaged in each challenge?
It's varied. No more than 500 in any challenge.
Hmm, okay. And what was the lowest ticket offer you have ever sold from a challenge?
£5,000 offer is the lowest
Wow.
ticket offer.
And that's from a free challenge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, what was the highest ticket offer you have sold from your challenge?
My VIP, £10,000.
Okay. And what was the lowest revenue you have ever made from a challenge?
I think the lowest challenge was only two sign-ups, so it was 10,000. That's the lowest revenue I've ever had.
Wow. I mean, 10K from one challenge in 1 month. That is still
Mhm.
like somebody's salary, right? Yeah, absolutely. And what was the highest revenue you have made from one challenge?
That would be January's, and we hit six figures in January. So,
Wow, congratulations, congratulations. So if you wanted to make $1 million, right, in the next 6 to 12 months, would
yep.
you do a free challenge? Would you be focusing on challenges only?
Yes, and I'd scale those challenges by spending more on Facebook ads.
Hmm, awesome. So have you ever done a collab challenge, or you have always been done a solo challenge yourself?
No, because I'm so unique. I'm
Mhm.
not kind of like the other coaches out there. I've never collaborated yet. Yet, you never know.
Absolutely. I mean, you will always find your people. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Mandy. It was an honor to host you today. And
Mhm.
there was just one question that I wanted to ask you before we get off over here. So, what would you say to someone who's on the fence of doing a 5 day or a 3 day challenge themselves?
I would say, give it a go, but don't just give it one go. Give it at least two or three challenges to find your feet. But do your market research beforehand and go and do other people's challenges and find what you like for your clients.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for all the insights, Mandy. And thank you so much for being here. And I would love to have a conversation with you after. Okay.
Okay, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, so with that, we come to an end of this episode. I hope you like this. And if you did, go ahead and share your best takeaways in the comments below. I would love to know more about what your best takeaways were. And at the same time, I have got a gift for you to launch your first or next challenge the right way, with which you can not only sell your offers, but at the same time, you get to know more about your target audience every single time you do a 5 day challenge. So go ahead and get it. It's absolutely free in the description. And I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then, keep creating for a change.